All right, we're going to start with the online class session. This is digital marketing or applied digital marketing 5 for postgraduate students. So in today's session, we also going to look into chapter 1 and look into chapter 2. I ask you to log in onto my Twitter or Brightspace. So follow with me on the screen as well. So once you're on Brightspace, you go to apply digital marketing to the subject page. And then most of the things that we'll be doing, they're under content there. So you click content. There's a couple of things I've updated recently here that we need to go through. So under module welcome and introduction, you've got the module guide. You need to download that. It's about 26 pages, the module guide. So it covers mostly everything in terms of your assessment, the year schedule, the updated one, and so on. So I'm also going to quickly save that because I work on different computers from time to time. So now once you have opened the module guide, you want to come to where it talks about the assessments. So I'm going to go to 4.3, which is on page 11, calculation of final mark and pass requirements. That was recently updated. And I want us to look at the types of assessments that we're going to have throughout the year. So you're going to have 6 assessments. And we know that we are doing this continuous, so we don't have exams. So your final mark is going to be calculated on those weights. So for today's lesson, we're going to talk more about assessment 1 and assessment 2. However, I want you to look into those weights from time to time. You'll see assessments 5 has a lot of weight as well, which is going to be your last assessment. But you'll see with assessment 1, it's just 10 weight. But you'll remember now this is a continuous, that 10 will not be divided or anything like that. It's your final mark. So if you get 5 or you get 7, you already have 7 towards your final mark. And at the end of the year, you're going to need 50%. So you will need to take each assessment seriously if you really have to, or if you want to pass the module. So let's go back to Brightspace. The second thing, you click under learning content. And as you click under learning content, before you come under learning units or you go anywhere, the main page of the learning content, you've got the year plan there. And this was recently updated. So in the year plan, you will see that at this point, we are in that week, 31st of May till 4th of June. And we've already have an assessment that is scheduled in this week. So that is on chapter 1, chapter 2, and chapter 4. So this assessment, you will see it after the end of the day because it's going to be available tomorrow. So tomorrow, please visit my Twitter once again so that you can see that assessment there. So I've only seen you once, which was a contact class. And basically, I've introduced you to digital marketing. We spoke more about chapter 1 and chapter 2 there. And in that chapter 1 and chapter 2, we spoke mostly about, in chapter 1, we spoke about the research objectives, Not the research, sorry, you'll excuse me, I just had another class for research. In this case, this was a digital marketing objectives. And then those were the 5S, and we're talking about sell objective, CSL, serve, and so on. And then we analyze article based on that. In chapter 2, we talked about the remix process. So this is our 8 Ps. Your products, price, and the service mix, as well as partnership, which is the added P here. Digital customers, that's something we also need to look into. So you will need to come to these learning units and skip chapter 3 for now. You will see that I don't have chapter 3. Hold on a second. Okay. The year plan that is here, it's not the year plan for you guys, sorry. Let's quickly update that. So let's go back to the study guide. And in the study guide, we go for the year plan. I just want to see if it's updated this side. Okay, this side is updated very much clearly. So I'm gonna quickly update the one on Brightspace as well after class, but for now use the one on the study guide. So we are here. I remember I've updated this one because I couldn't see you the other week. So you will see that chapter 1, chapter 2, we are supposed to be covered that today. And then your assessment 1, it's moved, it's no longer tomorrow. So it's tomorrow for 4th years. Those are advanced students. So in yours, it's moved, it's next week. So I will post those details. I thought it will give you enough time to download those slides as well. Hence I moved. But previously, your assessment was scheduled for this week as well. And you'll also see that it's no longer chapter 1 and 4, it's just chapter 1 and 2. So I did update your assessment on that as well. So we're only going to focus on those 2 chapters. So as I was saying, on Brightspace, you'll have to go to Learning Unit 1 and Learning Unit 2. And then underneath there, download PowerPoint slides, textbooks, and download everything regarding that. Okay, struggling with the connection. Hopefully you are with us now. Most of the time when I'm on the PowerPoint slide or on the next page, sometimes I won't see your notification. So you're more than welcome to just switch on your mic at some stage and just ask your question. Or you can use that chat box tool there. So PowerPoint slide for chapter 1. On Brightspace there, you're gonna need that. I did not update this one, so if you downloaded them previously, it's still the same PowerPoint slides that you have. So because we're gonna use it, I'm quickly gonna save it even here. Learning activity, you also need all that. So it's 5 articles that you have there under learning activity 1. And then where it says learning activity, you've got your instructions, what you need to do there. So we're quickly gonna download those articles as well. So I'm gonna take you through the structure of these chapters and how they relate to the content of your module. And because you are postgraduate students, so we're gonna start by talking about the module here. I will not save this, I will not upload it anyways, just to help you to illustrate. So somewhere where you're taking notes, it will help you as well, because this is where we're gonna discuss the memorandum and everything. So unfortunately, this I cannot share. It's part of the online activities or class activities. So you're gonna need to write it down yourself to help you understand the module. So firstly, for the module, we wanna talk about the focus area. Digital marketing focus on two things. Focus on application. That is usually for some of you did not do previous one, which was digital marketing 4, which is on your advanced diploma. Some of you did the IBC, so it's important that you understand the differences in the module here. So the first one was for advanced students. And then this one will be for postgraduate. So here we focus on application. Then that application, basically, we're talking about two things. That is case studies, whereby they read the case study, they analyze those case studies, and as well as developing a marketing plan. In your case, postgraduate students will focus on research. So now in terms of research, you will see quite a lot of journal articles which are published. And what we do with these journal articles, it's evaluation. So it's evaluation of journal articles, basically. For example, you'll see that in your learning activity 1. The second thing that we focus on here is a research proposal. And this is what you're gonna use as your own project. So you are doing other modules and they link to this. For example, you're doing research methodology. And then if you choose to take a topic on digital marketing, there are certain aspects whereby this subject will help you, and this includes mostly your background, your rationale of the study, the objectives, and most important, theoretical framework. So the theoretical framework that you're going to use, it will come from this module as well. And then you also do stats. So going forward, in terms of, for example, with your structure of a research proposal, I'm just going to quickly open it because I don't want to lose your attention here. So once again, study guide has everything. So hence you had to download that one. So let's quickly open the study guide once again. So we're still on the year plan. So now I'm talking about the research proposal. So maybe we should write it as well here on your notes where you find that framework. So we're just gonna say research proposal page 29 study guide. Okay, let's quickly go to page 29. So this is the research proposal. So in this case, it shows us page 26. Okay, so because I've updated the study guide, page 26 instead. So your focus area at the end of the year is to develop a research proposal, and your research proposal will be following this structure, whereby you have to indicate, you start on the title. I'm just gonna skip abstract just for now because abstract is a summary of everything that you have here. So your research title, so you choose a digital marketing topic here, which is actually based on chapter 1 and chapter 2. So we have to take that. And then we talk it about in terms of your module in your notes, so you understand as well here. So your title of your research project is gonna include three things. The first one, you're always talking about the independent variable. And then those independent variables is your 8 mix. So we're gonna look into your chapter 2. For example, under product, they remix the product. For example, instead of selling a physical product, a tangible, durable product, we sell digital products. Netflix was able to do that, as using an example, like things such as Showmax as well. Instead of giving people disc or DVDs, they decided to remix that product to be just content. So it's online content. So your title could be online content. We also usually use the word influence, but this differs. It can be effect and so on, impact, depending on your objective. So I'm just going to use the word influence so that you understand how your title should be structured. Independent variable on dependent variable. Our dependent variable are the 5 objectives. And those 5 objectives is chapter 1. So let's quickly open them so I don't lose you as well. So everything I'm doing here, it's on Brightspace, PowerPoint chapter slides. So let's quickly download it because if I use this screen, probably on your side, it's even less visible. So I prefer opening the documents on my site as well here. So that's much better. So here we're talking about the dependent variable, and basically this is our objectives. So there's 5 objectives that we talk about. Sell, save, speak, save, sizzle. And now with sell, we talk about the mostly your advertising objectives. Things such as brand awareness plays a huge role on selling objectives and so on. And then with sizzle, that is where you've already covered all these objectives. So sizzle is building new experiences. The word sizzle, it means to shine. It also means to stand out. So you should also understand the term sizzle, what it means in general concept. So you will see they talk about it as an example here. Quality, excitement. They talk about example in terms of food. And if you look at in terms of synonyms of sizzling, because that's one objective that I get, especially based on my experience, students don't understand it. So you will see some words that are actually used together with the word sizzles. It's talking about changing the whole experience. So basically you must have a groundwork first before you think about sizzling. So with sizzling, it's building new experiences, make it exciting for consumers and so on. Talking about virtual reality most of the time there, so that people can actually have a new experience with your brand. So independent variable, influence on dependent variable. And the last thing is your limitations. And then your limitations, sometimes it's important to include the theoretical framework. So as soon as you come to developing your proposal, you will also include the theoretical framework here, as well as your survey. So theory framework. There are many theories that we use. For example, you'll see a lot of these theories on chapter 3. Those are digital theories, but a theory in general, we're simply talking about, let's quickly open chapter 3. I don't want to actually lose your attention here since you are online. In classes it's better. I can see your eyes, I can see your observation and so on. So a theory, basically talking about something such as that one, a model, but this is a beginning of theory. So in digital marketing, we've got various theories. So you're gonna see those theories, we're gonna discuss all of them, but it's something such as this one. It's a theory that if you use this, it will influence this, that will influence that. So you name your theory in your title as well. So I'm gonna quickly close that. Theory framework. So if this was, for example, social media theory, so we will write the independent of that variable influence on that dependent variable. Wrote theory framework, and we also need, lastly, in your title, it should reflect your delimitations. I don't like this term, but research forces us to use it. The eliminations. It simply means limitations of research in simple words. So basically there you talk about your sample unit, which is a location of where you interviewed people. For example, this could be in South Africa, in Gauteng, in Pretoria. Eliminations also include sample element. These are research terms. You'll understand them more in the module. And the sample element is the person we're going to interview. In Pretoria, young adults. That's a good title. This will also help you when you start evaluate articles. Remember, this is your focus area as well. Fima Tavel, I'm going to quickly mute your mic. Yeah, I think it was unmuted by mistake. So if you do have a question, you'll unmute it and ask it. It was just making noise. Sorry about that. So remember, you'll have to evaluate articles. So for example, when you evaluate the title, look into all this. So it's important to take those notes down as well to know when I evaluate the article, what am I looking at? And another thing that I will always share with you are student previous mistakes that I tend to identify a lot. When they evaluate the article, they tend to look for wrong things. For example, if the independent variable, they say billboards, so billboards will be under promotion because that is one element of promotion. Billboard influence on, let's come with the dependent on brand awareness. So that will be our cell objective. Billboard influence on brand awareness as a title. And then it's easy for them to identify that, you know what, this independent variable that they are using is billboards, and billboards is not digital marketing unless it's digital billboard. And then when they come to the objectives as well, they tend to think about mostly what the title did wrong, but it's not only that. So even if it's not billboards here, with billboards, you'll be easy to analyze that this is not a digital marketing topic because digital billboard is traditional. But what if we said online streaming content like we're doing with Netflix, online streaming content influence on something, and then online streaming content, it's 100% correct because that will be a digital marketing topic that we are using. And then students, they tend to leave it out. So when you analyze or when you evaluate, you also take the correct answers or the correct way, which means that you still have to indicate that under title, the researcher is investigating the digital marketing independent variable, which is online streaming content. We still want to see that part. So students tend to look for wrong things when they evaluate and forget about the right things and they lose marks. So even the right things, you have to do them in the evaluation to show that you were looking for those and you understood what you were doing. So what we've done in our previous class as well, I'm just recapping mostly of these things, but it's also a very good idea because your assessment is still based on this. So what we've done, we've looked at 5 articles. So let's quickly go to Brightspace. We looked in terms of learning activity 1. So those are our articles there. First one was talking about college athletes. Do college athletics marketers convert social media growth into ticket sales? And you need to download these pages. Although it's not full article, it's because we are not using full article, we're just using the abstract. So you remember we said the abstract is the summary of the study. And we spoke about it, and then we say if we looked in terms of this topic, going back quickly to learning activity 1, our objective was to evaluate that article in terms of the dependent variable, which are 5S objectives, and that article was talking about to sell objective. And then we said promotion element was uses social media, but this is my focus area of today's. How do you actually motivate your answers in terms of marketing mix element? So in this case, the motivation was only one. In my previous class, I also indicated that when you motivate your answers, you also need to have different sentences or different bullets. A motivation to sell, a motivation for this element, the 8 Ps. So today I want to focus more on this because under promotion, you get quite a lot of things. You get sales promotion, personal selling, which digital is no longer personal selling, it's just selling. And underneath of each of those elements, there are also online value propositions. So we need to go into in-depth regarding this. So going back quickly to your notes. So I've already introduced you to chapter 2 and chapter 1. So that's what we're going to talk about. So quickly going to go to chapter 2 now. While we are on chapter 2, how it relates to your topic or your project. So those are the 8 mix. So what we need here, we need to discuss basically our independent variables, because that's the structure of your title. And once we're done with that, we're going to go back to chapter 1. We already have these answers, so I need us to actually recap our answers for those articles. So that's going to be article 1 to article 5. We do the same thing as well when you come to chapter 2. So it's different motivation instead of one motivation. You need to understand that. So with article 1, that's the one about the college athletes and social media. Our dependent variable was about increasing sales. That is a sell objective. And then under sell objectives, you also have, okay, let me not go into detail. I just want to recap for now. So what I need you to do, look into your notes. If you attended the class, the first class, if you not attended the first class, or even if you attended the first class, but you don't have those notes, we're gonna do a little participation exercise here. You go to these journal articles. Under learning activity 1, you read the title for each and every one of them. You read the abstract quickly, but the title should tell you more about everything. I need you to recap the objectives, not as well as the independent variables. For that, and then your participation will be based on the chat box. So once you have your answer there, you're gonna write it in the chat box. Any article or all articles. So in this case, we talked about this is promotion, because that article 1 was about those college students. That's a promotion element. So I'm gonna make this an online activity. And I'm gonna give it about 5 minutes. So what you need to do, I'm gonna type it here quickly. You read articles under learning activity 1, which are uploaded. And then you identify below elements. So we've already have this. So basically what I need you to do is to copy and paste it. If you have it, it's a good recap because you're gonna extend that. So it's all 1:45 now. Gonna resume our class at 10:50, 5 minutes class activity, online activity. You write that in the chat box. We're left with 2 minutes for this exercise. So please participate, ladies and gentlemen, by writing any article and the objective or the element there. Don't spend too much time reading about. Okay, we're going to continue with class now. It's already 5 minutes. Thank you for those who participated. So let's go to article 2 one by one. This was placed 100% correct. I saw that. It's communication. Communication speak about speak objectives. So once again, those are your objectives. So make sure you have opened this somewhere. This is chapter 1 slides because it makes it easy for you as well. So speak is there. Let's go to article 3. They were talking about the adoption of success for small businesses. So this was safe as a digital marketing objective. And because digital marketers, they perform certain processes for them to actually do it for yourself. They talk about self-service. So now instead of having those partners and middlemen, so this is a process of our marketing mix. So that was safe. This process. What you need to understand with the process, it comes from the word service mix. And then service mix also include people. So it's possible that you can also analyze it as people as well as physical evidence. But process plays a huge role here. So this could help you as well for future articles. When you identify something as physical evidence or as people, just think thoroughly if it does not relate to process more or people more, because those are aligned. Article 4, customer engagement. Thank you for participation. I saw this comment here, and this was customer engagement. If you think about it, it talks about basically engaging with customers. And if you read the purpose as well here, the customer engagement that they talk about mostly here is to keep them online. They talk about the benefits, entertainment benefits, the social benefits. When we talk about serve as an objective, is to keep customers online, keep them engaged, keep them interacting. So that was the goal there, or the objective. Going back to the article, Facebook, this is a media that they are using, and we know media is about promotion as well, for advertising. So article 4, serve. Promotion once again. We're gonna extend these definitions now once we've looked into chapter 4, because to get marks, you'll need to write more than this. The last article, talking about using augmented reality. Last time I illustrated the difference between augmented reality as well as virtual reality. So I need you to also do that at some stage, look into the differences between the two. But this is about brand experience, both of them. And they also say it here, brand experience. And it relates to sizzle. And if you read more in the abstract of an article, things such as the purpose, they talk about whether they affect the consumer behavior towards brands in retailing system. And if you read more about brand experience or reality, you will know that the influence is not on selling and so on, or promoting or the price in terms of the marketing mix element. The word term brand, it's a product in digital marketing. We sell brands most of the time, your Netflix original and so on. So that's why that article's, the marketing mix element becomes product as a brand. Gonna extend that definition. It's gonna make more sense. And like I've said here, they want to sizzle. Okay, now let's quickly look into these independent variables as a whole. So going to chapter 2. Remember, you're also doing the same thing. If you haven't, you have to download this. Even if you recently downloaded them, I have updated these slides. They are now updated, so you need to download the latest copy of them. There are a couple of tweaks and changes that were made here. So quickly download. And like I've indicated, I've prefer actually opening the screen here so that it's more visible on your side as well. Let's quickly talk about chapter 2 now. Digital marketing remix. In 1963, Patel makes a very interesting quote for marketers. They're like a chef in the kitchen. They mix ingredients, and that's how we see the marketing mix, mixing the price, mixing the product, promotion, and everything. So let's quickly talk about the history of digital marketing, or the history of marketing mix up until it became a remix. It all started in 1949 at American conference, where it was coined there. They started thinking about promoting their products there, and then you'll see that flyer. It's actually the original one that was published in that conference. But it was not clear in this flyer what are the mix elements. We could see the car, but you can't see the price and so on. In 1960, they published a nice article, which was published by Jerome, and then he actually indicated that the mix elements that should be shown: product, price, place, promotion, and that's when we had the product mix. You can see it's not so long ago. The service mix in 1981, just after 20 years from there, they find a gap that if you are using these elements, you cannot sell a service because it's different. You don't have tangibility and all these things there. And then that's when they included the service mix, and this was different authors, and you'll see the importance of research from building from other theoretical frameworks, which you need to do as your project as well. And then Dave Chavey, the authors of the textbook we are using, he published his first textbook, I think it was in 2001, whereby he remixed everything here, included the 8 Ps. That's where partnership comes in. So the most important thing that you should understand about these marketing mix elements is that we're not only looking in terms of product in general as a marketing mix element, we're looking in terms of digital product. So in this module, we're talking only about digital parts of that mix element. So here are various types of products, online digital tools that we use in terms of product. Our objective is to actually offer consumers or customers interaction in the product as well as engagement with the product. And that's where the brand mostly comes in. And we're using a theory called online value proposition. It's based on 6 Cs. And you can see now we need to expand that motivation as well. When we talk about what are they actually using here. So the 6 Cs that we have is the content, customization, community convenience, choice, and cost reduction. So in your analysis, you need to understand the meaning of all this. In terms of the content, we can sell a platform and then the users, they generate the content themselves, talking about Facebook, TikToks there and so on, that type of a content whereby the company just gives the platform. Can be organization content, your Netflix, your Showmax will come in there because they sell their own shows, so the user does not generate such content. Talking about interactive content, talking mostly here in terms of interactive content, it's similar to engagement content, talking about the content which allows people to play around with the content. I'm going to use the word play around because when you interact with something, it relates mostly to games. So we're talking about mostly your gaming or your games in terms of your content here, online games that people play and so on. Same content, if it's organization, it could be international, it could be localized content depending on the demographics. Going back to Netflix, you will see there is also a picture here or illustration that they've tried to localize their organization content. If you're in South Africa, you're able to search South African movies or South African content there. So we have to identify that. So we need to identify in terms of the research studies, if it's about product, what type of the value proposition they are proposing to customers. If it's content, what type of content is that? And that's where you will get marks, show understanding. Customization, they can use the platform to offer things such as personalized messages. So they allow customers to personalize products basically or customize the page. For example, this is your Netflix where they come in. For example, in Netflix, I can buy someone a cup and I can write my a cup of coffee, sorry, or I can write my message there or a clothing and so on. Anything that allows me to personalize the product. And then this configurations also plays a role. I can design the product the way I want it. Most car dealers, they have this option whereby you can play around the content and have a car the way you want it, like including your sunroofs and so on. Community and participation. We're talking about basically your community of the page. So we're talking about social proof most of the time. A company could sell this as well, or it could propose this. This is where social media comes in: Facebook, your Instagrams, your Twitter, your YouTube. Basically, what they are selling to businesses, they are selling social proof that they can see the company brand, how many reviews, how many likes, and so on. Convenience, we also sell that, or we propose that in terms of a product. Things such as delivery, your Uber Eats, that's where they come in terms of digital. And then this could be website design elements. This is where you are Netflix. I can use an example as well. For example, that there is no adverts there, so it's not like TV. So it's more convenient for a customer. Or they skip intro. So for example, you don't have to watch the whole intro of a movie. You can just skip it. Or if it's a series, you already know that. And then it can offer customers choice. Those are various categories, various channels. For example, Netflix also do this. For example, if you use Showmax, you will know that you can watch sports live on Showmax, but Netflix, you can't watch sport live, so you'll see limited channels there. Or if this could be something such as your Gumtree, they expanded, instead of selling one advert there or selling different adverts, you can actually open your own channel and show your products there, different categories. That's the value that you're giving to customers. Like if they go to Amazon, it's different than when they go to Adidas shop. Adidas shop, you only see Adidas clothes, but at Amazon, you see variety there. Cost reduction as well. Mostly this one relates to promotion, your sales promotion, the rewards, online rewards, money back guarantees, and so on. So all these are online value proposition. So what we need to do here, we need to go to the article where we identify that they are actually remixed as a product, and identify further here what type of online value proposition, and then try and motivate that a bit. So the article that we're talking about is article number 5. So when you open article number 5 under those articles, the article there is about augmented reality in omni-channel, if I remember correctly, because you can see it's loading slowly. Let's quickly try and reopen it. It's this article whereby they use augmented reality to manage the omni brand experience. So you will need to read further in the article here to understand how you're going to analyze that. So most of the time you get your answers in the purpose here. And if you read about that, they talk about augmented reality basically is the definition that it enhances the brand in terms of extra content. That could be informational, sensory content, and it affects the emotional value. And then they wanted to verify, this is the purpose, they wanted to verify whether augmented it affects consumer behavior towards brands in the retailing system. And then we have to read a bit about findings as well. What did they find? Because mostly that is literature review. And then they found that augmented reality, it can create extra brand value by simplifying the decision-making process and engaging with customers. So we see quite a lot about engagement here, which means that people are using the content to actually engage with the brand and talk to the brand. And you can see basically on your slides, it's easy for us to identify that. So you'll need to go through each and every basically the marketing tools of every element. So we need to expand our definition once again here. Product, the online value proposition. I hope you're writing down because the assessment is similar. Is content, but not just content, engaging content or engagement. Let's write content engagement. And in the assessment, you get full articles. So here, try and add more by reading the discussion. So you also need to read the discussion in the article itself. Then you will get more idea. Discussion, there are three things that you need to read in the whole article. First of all is the methodology, and the methodology tells you where they collected the data, how did they set up the virtual reality and so on. The abstract does not give us much of that. And then you read also the results, what did they find, and how do they articulate it, and you find that all in under discussion of the article. So you can actually expand your motivation more here. Let's continue with the slides. In terms of price, as a marketing element, digitally, we try by our objective to offer a range of purchase options to customers. So it's not just that they can purchase by going to the store. So in this case, we try to make the price, basically they use a theory to say, instead of investing in many customers, you invest in one customer and you try to move this customer from this to this to that, and then they end up paying more. But we can use all this as well to, in terms of digital marketing, we use these online tools to actually target different types of customers. So it's not just 1,000 Rand for our products. We're not selling it at 1,000 Rand. They can pay 10 Rand per day and so on. So different pricing methods that we have digitally. You've got your subscription, which is usually a free access, trial, monthly fees, and so on. Free access, it differs from trial, just take into account. Free access, it means it's free access forever. So I'm talking about things such as YouTube. YouTube does have that free access. You can watch videos, but you can also take their trial. I think they give you 3 months. In their trial, they allow you to download music and so on. And then you can start paying. It could be a monthly. It's not once off with YouTube. And then you've got pay-per-view transaction here. Pay-per-view transaction, they relate to those fees that you pay for a certain viewing time. So it's not a subscription. It means that it expires, that fee. Talking about mostly your WWE matches, your Royal Rumbles and so on. Although they pay subscription, some shows, they cannot see them unless they pay for that particular show. In-app purchases, it comes in here. In-app purchases, we work a lot with in-app purchases. When you download most of your application, smartphone apps, you will see that they are for free. But as soon as you start using the app, you can actually download more in the, you can actually buy certain coins or buy more of the upgrades if it's working with such. I can talk more about examples here in terms of the gaming. Gaming uses this a lot in terms of coins. And then you've got bundling, whereby you allow consumers to group content or channels at a reduced fee. And Showmax, Netflix, no, Netflix does not have bundling, but Showmax, it does have a family account, which means more than one people. Jukes also have a family account, so that also works. Ad-supported content is a growing one. You'll see quite a lot of topics that you can investigate in your digital world here. So when you're talking about all these independent variables, we're referring to all these various small options I'm talking about. For example, your study could be looking in terms of ad-supported content influence on something. So ad-supported content revenues generated from third parties. We're talking about, for example, people are supposed to watch an ad. That ad is for advert. They watch an ad, they can complete a survey, and then they get the coins or they get the revenue. Your YouTube works quite a lot with the ad-supported content because it gets money, that free access from advertisers there. And then we also talk about price transparency as part of the price element. Your trial also comes in here, the free trial, because price transparency is about customer to be able to compare your price check. There was a website called, or there's still a website called Price Check, whereby you can type any product and then it shows you different prices at different stores and so on. So that is transparency in terms of price, talking about things such as discount and refund policies as well. For example, thinking about things such as Uber Eats, usually when you purchase whatever meal at the physical store, the price is different from the one that you are using on the app. So if they are transparent about that to show you this is a delivery fee, this is a service fee, and then the refund policies that they have. So all these are different pricing methods that we can use digitally or to remix the price digitally. We did not have any article about price. So let's continue. You'll see quite some of the visuals there to illustrate what we're talking about on the slide. And then we come to the place. So now in terms of the place, you'll remember the place usually it means where you can interact with the company, for example, going to buy products, going to a store and so on. And now in terms of the place, we remix it. It's no longer a physical traditional, it should be online. So our objective is to offer alternative locations for online access and transaction. We have to differentiate between access and transaction in terms of the place to be clear. So access is talking about basically being able to access the content. This could be a supplier site. Supplier site is a company itself. For example, that's a company website like watching movies on Netflix website or WW website. Sometimes we use intermediary. There is a middleman. For example, our app. So don't get it twisted or confused here. The app is not the supplier, because when you're talking about the application or a smartphone app, it's still going to be installed on the operating system. So the operating system or the mobile system, for example, you are in Riot, they control all the apps there, which one should be there, you need their submission. So even if that is not available, that software or that system, your app becomes unavailable. So it relies on the middleman. And then we've got the customer side, affiliation. And now with the customer side, we're talking about the brand promoters most of this time. So if I open my own Facebook account or my own Twitter account, Instagram account, and I promote products there, Herbalife, I've seen quite of people do that, and people are able to access all those products in that other customer, the affiliator. That could also be another online, how we remixed it. Payment is a different scenario. You will see there is no customer side for payment, because usually every time when we talk about payment, it's usually company there. But intermediaries now, they actually support that. So at the supplier side, it's like making direct payment with my credit card on the website. Intermediary side, paying using Apple ID, using Google Play ID, PayPal, and so on. So we also need to look in terms of place. In terms it's about access, so it was about payment. We differentiate between the two. We also classify it whether it's intermediary side, it's supplier side, and so on. So we did have an article which talked about place here. And this was the article. So our motivation is to be clear as well. So let's go to the article. That is article number 2. In this article, the authors were trying to investigate in-store proximity marketing, experimenting with digital point of sale communication. So if you read the abstract or you read the article, what this is about is that when you go to a shopping mall, so let's use Main Lane. They went to Main Lane as an example, and then at Main Lane, digital signage, digital point of sales communication. What they are doing here, we're talking about that screen that you find in a mall. So that screen whereby it could show advertisement. It also talks about point of sale digital point of sale communication. A good example, we're talking about digital menu boards. You find this a lot in restaurants. For example, your KFC and so on, that they rotate, they are digital. You can scan the QR code there. But you also work in terms of kiosk keys, like at the checkout. McDonald's have those kiosk keys that you can buy food, order food, and so on. But their focus area was about communication, which means it's the advert. So what they did here, if you read more on the article, they used a 2x2 subject experiment. What it means there, it simply means that they took one screen, they placed it next to the till point where they purchase, and then they took another screen, they placed it basically towards the end of the store. Maybe it could be at the door of the store. Then they show promotion, and then they wanted to see how it affects customers. Is it there because they wanted to look at the location base? This means that the one next to the till point, does it have more impact than the one at the door and so on? That's what they were doing here. So we have to analyze it more. Based on this place, this is not supplier side, it's at intermediary. You will see if it was supplier side, we have to own them all. So going back to your slide once again, to understand, you must illustrate more. So in this case, it's the middleman because digital signage sometimes is owned by the brand companies like your digital media and so on, and it's at the store. So access to that content that they were using, it was at the middleman side. So let's quickly have that. So place, once again, you wrote this as sentence authors in terms of place here. It was not customer side, it's at intermediary side, which is our middleman, and we need to be careful how we motivate that middleman as well, because in this case, it's not an app, it's digital signage, which is a digital screen at the store. So you will see that in an assessment, you will need to write more than just analyzing this. You'll lose marks just writing place, and you use words in the article there. Even if those are you cited correct words, we need you to analyze more here. So it was not about payment. So if the case was not talking about communication, it was talking about payment, we will come to payment as well. Let's go to promotion. So in terms of marketing mix, in terms of promotion, our objective here is to integrate communication tools to online. So our usual promotion elements or that we usually, I think in the IPC, this is something that you have vast experience or vast knowledge regarding it. Your advertising, personal sales promotion. We differentiate between these ones and the online one or digital one. For example, advertising online, this could be your search, like the one that is showing here on the slide, search marketing. We can use that instead of using a billboard or using a TV ad. PPC stand for pay per click. Usually Google use that, which is a nice thing about digital, or the beauty of digital, that we can measure that, because usually we had the problem about advertisers saying that we cannot measure whether their communication or content reaches the customers. Interactive, your banner ads, your YouTube ads, all of them, they come here. Personal selling. The textbook does not use the word personal, it just says selling. And the background to that is because there is no personnel in terms of digital. So for example, if we use visual sales stuff, Facebook has a nice visual sales stuff. For example, if you open your page there, your brand page, in other words, and then you've got followers, as soon as they land into your page, you can actually indicate what should that visual sales stuff to do. And we refer to them as bots or chat bots. For example, they can greet a customer and say, hello, whoever named the customer, how can we help you? This is our menu, and so on. So that works as well. Sales promotion. These are incentives, loyalty schemes. Uber Eats has benefited a lot on this. For example, you are buy one, get one free, online exclusive rewards. Public relation, that's your social media usually, because that's where you manage the brand with the comments and so on. Your Hello Peter website, they come in there as well. Or we can use the direct mail. For example, this is whereby you communicate with one-on-one. Direct mail talks about one-on-one with the customer. You'll remember that the mail was going to a specific household as well. So this could be your opt-in email whereby customers sign up to receive offers, or in their app they have an inbox page, or it could be a web response that we are using on the website. We are able to communicate one-on-one with customers there. So once again, if you have a promotion element, we need to analyze what type of online digital tool regarding that promotion was used in the article. Because what it means here, you've got more than 10 various aspects that you can use as well for a research project. For example, one person can think about the influence of opt-in email, or the influence of those bots on Facebook towards something. It's your topic. So we need to identify all these topic areas that you can use digitally. So there were two articles that talked about promotion, Article 1 as well as Article 4. We need to actually, okay, this one we're still coming to it. We need to actually expand our definition as well here, or our analysis or evaluation. So this one, I'm going to make it an online activity as well. So we're going to take 10 minutes break while you do that online activity. So what you need to do, you need to go look into Article 1. You've already identified that they are using social media. So you need to talk more about where does it fit in terms of the promotion elements. Article 4 as well, you read that, and then where does it fit in terms of the analysis in terms of the promotion elements there. If it sales promotion, is that loyalty scheme, rewards, and so on. So online, let's do that. Read article, I'm gonna change it now. Read article 1 and 2, no, and not 2 and 4. And identify promotion. Online tools that authors are investigating. It's very important that you use the comment section box there. So once you have identified them, just write Article 1, what you've identified as promotion, as well as Article 4 in the chat box there. So at this time, it's 2:30. So this one needs about 10 minutes. So I need you to take your time. Remember, you're not learning anything if you're just gonna sit and watch and write the memorandum. It's not for any of your benefit. It's better to read, understand, and see if your answers are wrong or correct. Even if they are wrong, you're still learning. So there's quite a lot that goes into this 10 minutes break and discuss activities. Please participate by doing that. We're going to continue our class at 20 to 3. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, we're left with 3 minutes for that class exercise. So please continue writing your comments there in the chat box. Please participate. If you're struggling with writing a comment in the chat box, just unmute the mic at the end of these 3 minutes, and then you can participate by actually talking via the mic as well. So please continue on the class exercise. We'll continue with the class just now. All right, I think we can continue. Thank you, Makofan, and thank you, Matabe, for participating in this exercise. So let's quickly look in those articles as well. So we had to look into article number 1. And this is the article about do college athlete marketers convert social media growth into ticket sales? So they've identified their social media already. We know that that's what they're investigating, but you cannot use the word social media for classification. You use it for motivation. Once again, we come to your slides for that. So I want you to be careful regarding that. Social media is part of public relations. So they are using it for public relations. So what they do basically is that this student or a college student that they have there, they have their Facebook accounts. And then those Facebook accounts, they promote stuff. For example, they can put a ticket or venue that is upcoming event that they'll be participating. So that could be here in South Africa, someone such as in our university, maybe Caster Semenya is having a present online, and then does that promote the ticket sales? So that's all about public relations. That's where social media comes in, because that's where we want to write things such as comments, things such as likes, things such as shares. It's just more than sales promotion, it's more than advertising, because they are not forced to advertise, it's just a figure or a public page of that person. So we have that promotion there. So in this case, remember we write it in a sentence case. So authors are investigating the effect of public relations remixed using social media. And then we just have to add words from the case study, because what we see here, we see a lot of theory. So the case study in this case is our article. So our article talks about college students social media page. And once again, you'll need to read more on those topics or on those subsegments of the article once you download it. At the moment, you've got the brief article, but you'll need to download the full article. So usually when you are using TUT network, you can download all these articles for free. But if you're using your own network at home, they can ask you for a price to pay for it. So when you are at TUT on campus, use the network and download the articles, the full articles, to get more in terms of the method, results, and discussion. There's just copyright issues as well as plagiarism for me to share the full article. Hence, I'm sharing only the first page and so on. And then we come to number 4. So in article number 4, this was about customer engagement in Facebook branded community. Once again, this is actually in the title. They told us quite a lot. Brand community relates to social, community relates to public relations. The word community public, you can see as well. We're talking about basically the participation, social media as well. So both of them, they were using public relations, both of them, they look into social media. So similarly, you will have that. And then here, you will add quite what the article is about, because this one is no longer about college students. So that's where practicality comes in. But it's important that you have that public relations, you have that social media. That's what is worth more marks. And then you motivate using the article. So I think you are quite getting the grasp of what you need to do in terms of the assessment, in terms of evaluation here. If we continue with the slide, we are done with the product mix. In terms of the service mix, so in this case, we start with people. Remember, there's something that I need to indicate regarding people. Most of the time, students, they tend to think we are replacing a person. It's impossible to replace a person. There is still a person behind our online digital tools. So our objective is to enable customers to get information they need faster at the reduced cost. Because instead of calling and waiting 10 minutes to speak to a consultant, that is a cost of airtime. With data, if you just write, for example, something such as you go to frequently asked question, that costs much lesser, and then it's much faster than waiting as well. So we've got different types of online tools, the autoresponders. We talked about the bots here as well. So that's your chatbot. And then we've got the email and text alert. How do they actually make people get information faster? For example, it could be the status of the order, or it could be the receipt of what they purchased, the live chat. And you can see here on the live chat, there is still a consultant behind that live chat. So we try to reduce the cost there. Spoke about frequently asked questions, and then also talk about how we actually customize or segment our page. For example, this is talking about the elements of the website that they can find what they are looking for easily. For example, if they have the topics, it leads them to other segmentations of the help that they need with. So frequently asked question goes together with online customer segmentation there. And then the next service mix that it's remixed is physical evidence. So with physical evidence, our objective is to actually reassure quality to customers that they are online in terms of their privacy and security, data privacy. There is a lot of concern with online customers, things such as cyber security, things such as hackers and so on. So we need to use physical evidence to assure them that we're a real company, we're not a scam and so on. This one is the growing market, is a growing research area, ratings and reviews, how much they influence decision making. Your topic could look around these reviews. For example, if a person looked at the reviews, do they end up not buying a product because it's bad reviews and so on? There's very few research studies doing it online. Guarantees that we put there, refund policies, security accounts, and interactive map. So all this is type of things that should be tangible. So a customer should be able to actually see most of the things, and then they will reassure some quality. For example, security icons on the banking app, they help a lot to say MasterCard, Visa card, as soon as they click paying and so on. Things such as interactive map and full address. If I tell you right now about a new company that you've never heard of, and then the first thing usually is Google search. People, they go to Google search, but when you search the company, I love how what Google is using. So for example, I'm just gonna use any company here. Let's say Avis Car Rental. So it was able to do this. So all these things is part of interactive map on Google. So you know that, okay, this it shows us a legit company. You've got all that information, what time it closes and so on. So you can see the physical evidence of the company, things such as directions getting there and so on. So that's what we are illustrating with the last one, contact details as well, because on that Google, I think for a specific company at some stage, you can also see call or visit a website here. So because these ones have different branches, probably they have one contact line that they are using, but that's part of physical evidence. And then if you continue with the last service mix that we remix, that will be the process. And I think we do have an article about the process as well. So now in terms of the process, our objective here is to offer efficient service process database through database integration. So what plays a role here is this last words here, database integration. So basically we're talking about from the first step that the customer is going to take up until the last step that they're going to take. I must indicate that the service mix, I'm just going to open a different page here so that you understand. The service mix is usually done in one page rather than doing it separately. Like I've indicated, if you identify that is people, try and actually develop something similar to this. You'll also need to write this down on the slide, is written differently. So what we write here is service mix. Because it's digital, it's service remix. So just want to make sure it's quite clear for you there on your side. So what they usually do, you'll have a table such similar to this one. You can also use this table to motivate your articles. It quite helps a lot. It requires you to have at least 5 steps. So basically, if you can have something such as 5 like this would work. So basically, we will have the process here. And then under process, we'll have physical evidence. And lastly, we'll have people. And then with the process, basically, it's what the customer will go through. So the process could be step 1. Maybe the customer sign up, depending on the process that we are dealing with. So let's say in this case, we're talking about maybe using Netflix or using any account there. And then once they sign up on step 2, maybe they choose a certain package that they want, depending on the case study. And then on step 3, maybe they make a payment. This is just a generic thing. Step 4, maybe in this customers, after making a payment, they log in. So you will see that in this case, it's something whereby they don't have a free trial. If they had a free trial, maybe they will start a free trial before they select a package and so on. And then step 5, it could be maybe they start watching shows. So the idea is that you use the service blueprint, and in the service blueprint, you try and analyze physical evidence under each of this service remix. So for example, when they sign up, for example, there they can see things, for example, such as App Store. Remember, they will download the app for them to sign up or go to their website. They can see things such as ratings of the app. They can see things such as reviews. And then they will read that before they sign up. For example, if they are bad reviews, this company is a scam and whatnot, maybe they stop here, they no longer continue. So physical evidence, it should help them to go to the next stage. If they don't trust us, it should change that to positive, they start trusting us. When they select the package, maybe they will see prices and features online there to say this package is 99 Rand, it has sports, it does not have sports, and so on, HD quality and so on. And then when they make the payment, usually they will see security icons. Remember, that's what we spoke about under physical evidence. So security icons for such as MasterCard and so on, or PayPal. So that could be things such as anything that will assure them with their payment details. And then once they log in, maybe they will see a text alert. Most of these companies right nowadays, whenever you logged in, even I think on your Google account using a new PC, it does tell you that there was a logged in somewhere. That is some sort of physical evidence and some reassuring. So it could be a text alert, email alert, login alert that they can have there. Maybe they can also see a personalization there after they log in. So personalization could be something such as, I think WhatsApp and Facebook, even on your mobile phone, they tend to greet you to say good morning, whatever, and then they will write your name there. So that plays a huge role in terms of customer experience as well. And then they will start watching, and basically maybe there they will see top 5 or top 10 movies trending, or the content, and they can choose there, maybe trending movies. They can see the genre of those movies, for example, action and so on, or they can see a trailer. Usually with Netflix, they tend to that when you scroll through it, you can watch the trailer easily there. So that plays a huge role as well as physical evidence of the movie before you watch it. With people here, we try to assist customers at behind the scenes. So you'll remember we use different types of things that different types of online tools to assist customers as fast as possible in terms of getting help. So in terms of rating and reviews, maybe what they will see there, they will see contact details of the company when they sign up, or it could be something such as a reset password or frequently asked question about logging in and so on. So they don't need to actually call the call center and so on. When they select the packages, they can see the videos. For example, maybe we can guide them on guide videos, how they can select different packages as well, or how do they log in, how do they sign in and so on. Under price and security, they can see things such as an alert. For example, this could be a verification alert. Your one-time password that comes through to your phone to verify the transaction. It's also part of people here. And then as soon as they log in, maybe they will see reset password links, forgot password links, and so on. And lastly here, maybe we want to provide a lot of support to them. So for example, this could be different, because it's different countries and where they're watching movies, but these are existing customers. So under people, we tend to provide support. For example, let's say that support could be something such as a live chat or refund policy. Maybe they are not happy with the service and so on. So the service mix, we usually do it as a blueprint because we tend to want to align all these different aspects. But now on the slide, what you see, it's talking about one aspect like process, text alerts, order check-in, tracking the online status and so on. So these are still also valuable options or insights that you can use as your independent variable. Maybe you want to check the influence of GPS tracking on brand experience regarding deliveries. If a person can see that the car is passing what street, estimated time of arrival, how does that influence the waiting time and so on? So these are more topics that you should also try and investigate. We had one article as well talking about the process. So quickly coming to process is this one, article number 3. And this was an article about the digital marketing adoption and success for small businesses. And they talk more about do it for yourself. So basically, if you look under findings, the results contribute to the understanding of small business. Moreover, perhaps more importantly, the authors find that do it for yourself behavior models apply to small owners who perform tasks that require specialized knowledge there. So basically the process that they are using here is the do it for yourself in our motivation as well. Process, do it yourself for small businesses. But you need to understand that process, because that process could be maybe for sourcing products, for advertising products. That could be the process for something such as doing retrenchment or employing people and so on. So once again, you need to read the article so that you can add more about what type of process are they trying to do it themselves, because we've got different processes as well. And that's how you actually motivate your answers in terms of chapter 2, the variables. There is one last aspect that we did not discuss here, but no article identified that. And that is partnership, which is a new marketing mix element. So in terms of partnership that we have here, It's recommended in digital marketing that you partner with other customers and other alliances, other organizations. You cannot succeed on your own here. Collaborate to access big data. The idea is that you access the big data. Customers have already provided this information to other platforms. You just want to use that information. So for example, our big data alliances could be social media login, for them to sign up instead of completing the new details. Once again, you'll see TikTok has quite a lot of this. So if you open a TikTok account, you can actually log in with your Apple ID, your Facebook, QR code, your cell phone numbers, Instagram, and so on. And you can see there was a lot of partnership that went through between TikTok and these companies for them to authorize that information to be shared for logging in there. So that's a big data alliances that we have. And then we tend to also, we talk about e-commerce and digital marketing. So this is chapter 1. So now in terms of e-commerce and digital marketing, we differentiate that e-commerce, it allows people or customers to actually purchase online. It's not just about accessing online. Digital marketing, it's about promoting products. So if you want them to purchase something and then you can take money from their account, those are financial service providers. Talking about your PayPal, for example, regarding this one, can pay with Vodacom, can pay with your Vodacom account and so on. So this was, I think this was about paying a DSTV account, whereby you or adding Showmax to your DSTV account, that you can pay different options there. That plays a huge role. There is a lot of collaboration that goes in before they authorize that. The app submission, every product or every company that has an app, there will be some collaboration, because that is whereby the developers, they usually submit their app to the operating system, your Google Play and so on. So it must be approved. There's certain policies and so on there. Ad-supported content, that also plays a role. Your YouTube ads, in-app purchases, they play a role. For example, if you've got other brands that they're advertising on your platform, for example, let's use something such as YouTube, as indicated here. And then this YouTube adverts, they will form a partnership with Coca-Cola, or that after watching an advert, they can click read more and so on. So it's not only this four. I must be specific about that. We're talking about a lot of partnerships. So think practically what are other partnerships, but they must be digital. The one that you see here mostly are digital. So you cannot indicate partnership between maybe advertising company that is still using billboards, even if we advertised through that company, but because it's not a digital company, we cannot include it here. So it must be a digital company. As you see here, these are digital companies. And with the app submission, for example, it also includes the smart TVs, to have that button on your remote that says Netflix and so on. So that plays a huge role as well. So if you find an article talking about partnership, you try as well to motivate your answers regarding what type of partnership do they have, or they are trying to investigate in their article. There is one more last thing that I have to talk about regarding this chapter. So another important thing, let's quickly go back to those slides. Another important thing that you have to think about is your research project. So if we go back to what we've discussed here, your research project, your title that you are researching, you want to identify an article or a project whereby I'm going to investigate one aspect. You cannot investigate all aspects. So we looked into various or quite a lot of aspects. For example, this is an aspect that you can investigate. This is an aspect that you can investigate before you actually go to other elements. So all these aspects that you must think about your topic. So that was learning activity 1 again. So if I'm gonna quickly there, just gonna give you guidelines because I'm talking fast now and I don't wanna lose you at this stage. Learning activity 1. So what we've done, we've tried and analyzed this, and we tried to provide motivation and expanded our motivation on the 8 Ps because that's what we lacked last time. So your learning activity 2, it wants you to find 2 articles on the document that I've circulated with you in class. It was saying you must find at least 2 articles that you're gonna use as a baseline. So I'm gonna quickly have that. Let's add that as number 3 here. And talk more about that. I also want to talk about the search criteria because that's what we struggle a lot with as well. So this is your project, research proposal, the project that you have. So first of all, you need to search articles of your topic interest. So now I'm going to show you what this means. Topic interest, what you need to do, you must develop interest with any of these marketing mix elements. For example, I've talked about the visual sales stuff here. One person can search, investigate that part. One person will think about things such as the influence of brand promoters, online affiliators. Quite a lot of options you have there. In-app purchases, free trial, that will be under price. So when you search on Google Scholar, so we need to add that. So in your notes, please search 2 articles on Google Scholar. We must be specific about that. That's our database. So let's quickly go to Google Scholar because I want you to do this correctly. So you can just search it on the main page, Google Scholar, and then it's a search engine for, okay, maybe we can also copy that. Google Scholar is a search engine for peer-reviewed articles, academic articles as well. When you search here, you don't want to search the words digital marketing. You're not going to get a lot of articles that are broad, which are not related to your specific area. You also don't want to search digital marketing product or digital marketing price, because there is no niche area or focus area that you are focusing on. So in this case, you've already understand this, you want to work backward. So let's take one example. Maybe you are interested in the influence of trial. So for example, this is what we can search here on Google Scholar. So what we want here, we want a free trial. We can also just expand it a bit because these trials differ. Free online trial. And then basically what you see there, you'll see article regarding the free trial versions. For example, this was the self-help article regarding psychology exercise. And you just want to choose the article that is more related to your topic area. So what we also want to do when you search, you should learn how does the inverted commas work here. So you will see here, when I write these 3 words without this double inverted commas that you have there, it search this word alone, it search that word alone, it search differently. But if you put them in those inverted commas, it search these words together. So basically, maybe they will write it as a free trial. you will see it searched these words together. So it becomes easier to find a specific words that you're looking for or a sentence. So let's add that. Use that. To search key phrase. They talk about it as a key phrase instead of a keyword. So search key phrases. Okay, two different ways. So search specific key phrases. What you also need to learn here regarding searching for articles is that with the key phrases, it helps you as well if you are looking for a specific definition. So if you want to reference someone regarding what they've said on the article, maybe you just want to define what is digital marketing. If you're going to write it like this, digital marketing definition, you will have to read quite a bit. But if you know how people write their definitions, you can write the way people write that sentence. So it will be something such as digital marketing. You see, I'm adding those inverted commas so that it can look for these words, refers to. So if someone wrote it like this, you can see you go straight to the definitions. You go straight to the definitions of what they've wrote, and it makes it easier of what you're looking for. Some people will use the words is defined as, so easy for me to search articles and find this information because of all this experience and that I'm sharing with you, and this should make your job easier. If you search for articles, it's defined as, you can see that using those phrases, it takes us straight to the definition. So in conclusion, what I mean, think thoroughly of your topic area, search correctly to find 2 articles regarding your topic area. And then those 2 articles that you have, you will need, even if those articles, maybe you are searching them from home, which means that you cannot download. At the moment, I'm not using TUT network. You will see what it does. Let's say I'm looking for this article. As soon as I click there, and this should be similar to you as well, it asks me about the price. But if I was using TUT network, or I'm on campus, it not ask me this, it will just say logged in as Tshwane University of Technology. So what you need to do is that, okay, now I found the article that I'm interested in. You simply take this information, or you take that source, you keep it somewhere. And if this is an assessment and we say search for 2 articles, and then you must submit those 2 articles, you can write that source there as well. To show that at least you struggle to go to campus. We know there is COVID and so on, and there is this distance learning. But this information before you buy the article, it's more than enough for you to actually use the article or not use the article. So sometimes they give you more than enough information. The abstract is already there and so on. So for your research project, find those 2 articles of your interest. At least try and analyze those 2 articles. So working backward, you take it from there. It's already analyzed that I'm interested in promotion or I'm interested in product. And then you search those articles, you find those 2 articles. What usually happens is that you want to have a baseline article, baseline article. This is for validity reasons. I hope you're still taking notes. This is for validity reasons as well as reliability. So once you found the article that you are interested in or is talking about the same topic area of your study, they've already done a lot of work for you. They've developed a questionnaire, they've done some literature reviews and so on. What you want to do, you want to actually use that article to guide you. So it's a guideline. Guidelines on how you're going to structure your research proposal. What are the aspects that you should investigate? What are the constructs that you should investigate and so on? So basically that's bringing us to the end of the online class session today. So I need you, just before you leave, in the comment or chat box, can just write anything, bye-bye if you are happy, smile, face, or anything there. And regarding your online test, like I've indicated, go to that tier plan, and then I will also send an announcement regarding. So the next time I see you, at least have those 2 articles for your topic area, so that we can see if they are the ones that are more relevant to your study, or you need to search more. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you have a nice weekend. I hope you enjoyed the online session. So just type a smiley face if you are happy, sad face if you are sad, angry face if you are angry, still counts. So bye-bye and enjoy the weekend, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.